Welcome to Vedic Mathematics Basis Base Values classes. We are continuing with our understanding of 5-space VMST. We are in the shelter of the ancient wisdom textbook Shiv Puran. Shiv Puran is the ancient textbook, the times in which, the language in which, the manner of learning and teaching of the times as those were are different than our present day time of exposure of the knowledge, dissemination of knowledge, learning and teaching of knowledge, organization of knowledge. In fact, every aspect of knowledge at present is of a different format than the format of the ancient times. Conceptually as well, the present time is of a different model of our solar universe and its approach. Ancient wisdom has its own model, had its own approach, its vision, comprehension, glimpsing, approach, formatting, and availing of the pure values for their applied applications as well have been different. Today we are in phase 12. In this phase 12, the focus is upon Shat Rudra Samhita. The Shat Rudra Samhita is the third Samhita. It is first Samhita is Videshwar Samhita, the second Samhita is Rudra Samhita, and now at present we are in third Samhita, the Shat Rudra Samhita. This Shat Rudra Samhita is a scripture of 42 chapters. Organization wise, one of the method of having initial entry into, initial exposure to, initial initiation of the discipline of 5-space VMST in terms of Shiv Puran is that Videshwar Samhita shall be approached as individual source Samhita. Videshwar Samhita be approached as a complete initiation Samhita. The Rudra Samhita itself is of 5 khand, 5 parts, and as such it also becomes a complete scripture in itself. Therefore, at the initial exposure, as we are at present continuing with, we shall first be upon the values of the Videshwar Samhita, then we shall go to the shelter of the values of Rudra Samhita, and thereafter we have to come to the shelter of the Shat Rudra Samhita. In fact, Rudra Samhita, Shat Rudra Samhita, and Koti Rudra Samhita are all different 3 sequential phases of evolution and exposure into the transcendental domain in terms of its versions. Transcendental domain is the domain fold of hypercube 5, the representative regular body of 5-space. The representative regular body of 5-space within creator's space along the format of idol of Lord Brahma, creator the supreme, is of 11 versions. These 11 versions make distinct 3-dimensional bodies. These 11 distinct 5-space bodies of solid order become a range of 11 bodies, and these 11 bodies make the representative regular bodies of the 11 geometries range of a 5-space. This is one of the role of 5-space. 5-space as a domain fold. 5 space as a domain fold of hypercube 5. Hypercube 5 is a four-fold manifestation layer, and it is enveloped within a creative boundary of 10 components. These 10 components of the transcendental domain, this creative boundary of 10 components of a transcendental domain as such makes 11 versions in terms of presence or absence of the creative boundary components. There are 10 components, and as such the range of presence of 0 number to 10 numbers makes 11 versions. These make 11 geometries range, and one of the arrangements, as we know, is from -5 signature to 0 signature, and then on the other side to +5 signature. So -5 to +5 is 11 signatures range. It is an organization, one of the organization format features along which we chase the solar universe, and it is this chase of the solar universe which brings us face to face with the 11 versions. These 11 versions are called 11 Rudras. Rudra is a version of a 5-space body. Each Rudra being of the format of one of the specific version of hypercube 5, and as hypercube 5 is a 5-space body and 5 space is a transcendental domain. Transcendental domain is presided by transcendental Lord Shiva. As such, each Rudra, each of the 11 Rudras are the 11 incarnations of Lord Shiva. These 11 avatars, 11 incarnations are of distinct values, of sequential values, and these together make a one particular range of a values of format. So one format values of 5-space VMST are as per the organization of 11 Rudras, 11 incarnations of Lord Shiva, the 11 incarnations of the format of 11 versions of hypercube of 5. Further, the other role of 5 space is as a transcendental boundary. We know 5 space plays the role of transcendental boundary of 6 space. 6 space is a self-referral space. Hypercube 6 is the representative regular body of 6 space. The hypercube 6 is a 6-space domain, a self-referral domain enveloped within a transcendental boundary. So 6-space content lump manifests as 6-space domain of hypercube 6, the representative regular body of a 6-space. Now hypercube 6, the representative regular body of 6-space, is enveloped within a transcendental boundary of 12 components. These 12 components of transcendental boundary of hypercube 6 as such make 13 versions of hypercube 6. These 13 versions of hypercube 6 are the representative regular bodies of 13 geometries of 6 space. The 12 components boundary of 6 space, and 6 space is the format of sun, is Surya. Surya, sun, is a 6-space body. Surya is of having a ank number 6. 6 ank, 6 number value is the value of sun. Sun as a 6-space body is a 6-space domain enveloped within a transcendental boundary of 12 components. These 12 components, the transcendental boundary of 12 components of hypercube 6 as such make each component being an Aditya, means of the order of the sun. So there are 12 suns. Vedic systems are reaching at the format of Dwadas Aditya, 12 suns. These 12 suns, Dwadas Adityas, are a organization format of 5 space VMST. These are organization format of 5 space VMST, as essentially it is the transcendental boundary of 12 components which are playing their role. The values of 5 space content, values of 5 space content lump manifesting as 5 space domain, values of 5 space content manifesting as 5 space domain and playing the role of boundary of 6 space. Therefore, there are 12 components, 12 transcendental components. Therefore, these 12 transcendental components of the transcendental boundary of 6 space lead to the values which are of the order of the sun, order of 6 space, as these components are the boundary components of 6 space domain itself. Therefore, the domain, the features, the values, the format in which we are now entering in phase 12 in the form of Shatrudra Samhita, it deserves to be read together with the Koti Rudra Samhita. So let us make a note in our notebook as that it will be a better choice if we approach Shatrudra Samhita along with Koti Rudra Samhita. So third Samhita, Shatrudra Samhita, and fourth Samhita, Koti Rudra Samhita, may be jointly approached. One of the reasons, one of the features because of which we have to simultaneously go through the Shiv Puran as a Shatrudra Samhita and the Koti Rudra Samhita, both being permitting simultaneous. So third Samhita and the fourth Samhita, the Koti Rudra Samhita, both Samhita are better to be at the initial stages to be approached simultaneously. Shatrudra Samhita is a scripture of 42 adhyayas and Koti Rudra Samhita is a scripture of 43 adhyayas. These together make 85 adhyayas. We know that 85 is the value of 85 anuvaks of Sakala Rigved Samhita. Further, 85 is the value which accepts an organization as 17 into 5. We know 17 is the value of a Rudra, the incarnation of Lord Shiv. Therefore, incarnation of Lord Shiv and 5 in number. Now we know that 6 space is enveloped within a transcendental boundary of 12 components, and these 12 components accept the organization 5 is to 7 as the transcendental component. When the 5 space as a transcendental boundary component strips off from the self-referral domain, it dimensionalizes the outer space as 7 space, means it takes us to Dhruv, it takes us to pole star, it takes us to the origin of 6 space itself. Therefore, this organization of 5 into 17 means when 5 of the components simultaneously strip off, then it makes 5 into 5 grid, it makes a value 25 and it takes us to value of buddhi, so it is a intelligence field. Therefore, the sadhakas shall sit comfortably and permit the transcending mind to sequentially glimpse these features. As such, one of the technique being adopted for glimpsing and imbibing the values of these transcendental domains is being adopted by the Vedic systems in the form of forming groups, forming transcendental groups. Each transcendental group is of 5 sadhakas, 5 students of Vedic mathematics, science and technology together form a group. 5 students form a group. 5 of us shall form a group to study together, to discuss together, to meditate together, to pray together, to approach the text together, to get initiated together, so that each one of us, of this member, will complement and supplement each other. And further, there is a need of a class of 5 space VMST which shall be of 5 such groups. Let us note down that in this phase our focus is upon Shat Rudra Samhita and Koti Rudra Samhita being approached together. Initial focus is upon Shat Rudra Samhita. Shat means 100. Therefore, the value 100 as such is the focus value. We will coming to know that 100 is equal to 10 square. Therefore, this 10 square value will be accommodated for the 10 place value system. Double digit numbers of 10 place value system will be accommodated by the grid 9 cross 11. Therefore, the value 10 square is equal to 100. It will be accommodated by a grid 9 is to 11. So numbers 01 to 99 will be accommodated by this grid, and number 100 will go out of it. It will transcend the organization format of this grid format. Therefore, the Shatrudra Samhita as it is transcending this dimonad format. Therefore, we will be ultimately reaching at a trimonad format. Therefore, the focus here in our this phase of learning is a focus of transition and transformation from dimonad format to a trimonad format. Our aim as such is to learn as to how there can be a transition from dimonad format to a trimonad format. We know the fourth space is a spatial order space, and spatial order would means 2 space in the role of a dimension. Therefore, it accepts a dimonad format. This dimonad format means a pair of monads. These pair of monads will get a synthetic knot, a seal, a glue, a synthesis, and it is this seal, it is this joint, it is this glue of the synthetic monad which is of focus at present. So our focus in this particular phase is upon the joint of a dimonad, the synthetic glue needed for having a pair of monads as a dimonad. Therefore, 2 monads, 1 monad of value, 1 monad of a value, when it added and gives us 2. But we know that 1 as a dimension, pair of linear dimensions give us value 3. Therefore, how this dimonad takes us to a trimonad. That means how we will be having a spatial format at the middle. It will be of value 1, value 2 and value 1. We know it is value 11 into 11, and that means we are now approaching that phase of the values of dimonad format which has a focus at its joint. It is the joint of the dimonad, it is the synthetic glue of the dimonad. It is the middle of a monad which acquires the value of a dimonad. It is a focus point here. We know that hypercube 5 is a 5-space domain enveloped within 10 creative components. The creative boundary, 4-space boundary of 5-space is of 10 components. Therefore, when we will be having a pair of transcendental domains, so if we are having a pair of 5-space content lumps, content lumps, each content lump will be manifesting as a 5-space domain. So we will be having a pair of domains. This pair of domains will be manifesting as 5-space domains, and these 5-space domains each would be within a creative boundary of 10 components. Therefore, we will be having a 10 creative components of the first hypercube of 5-space content lump, and simultaneously we will be having another set of 10 creative components of another hypercube 5. We know 10 plus 10 is 20 and 10 into 10 is 100. Now here our focus is as how this 10 plus 10 20 value, which is the value of a 0 order 2 space, and 10 into 10 100, which is the value of the 5 basic elements. Therefore, make a note that we are having, now we have to deal with a pair of hypercube 5s. Initially in Rudra Samhita we have been dealing with a single hypercube of 5. So here we are having a pair of hypercubes 5. There are pair of elements of 5-space domain. We know 10 plus 10 is equal to 20, and value 20 we know it is a 0 order transcendence ranges. 0 order transcendence ranges, pair of 0 order transcendence ranges will make a transcendental carrier of value 20, and further 10 into 10 makes a value 100, which is equal to the TCV value of Prithvi 25, Apa 8, Tej 15, Vayu 13, Akash 8, and Dhruv 19. See, 25, 8, 33, 48, 65, 73, and we are reaching at, so we have 25 and 8, 33 and 15, 48. 48 and 30 is 60. See, Prithvi is 25, Apa is 8, Tej is 15, so 25 and 8, 33 plus 15 is 48, plus Vayu is 13, it becomes a 61, and Akash is 8, it becomes a 69, and then there is a Surya which is of value 13, and Dhruv is 19. So let us see, Prithvi is 5, Apa is 8, Tej is 15, Vayu is 13, Akash is 8, Surya is 13, and the Dhruv is 19. So we are having 33, 48, 61, and these values, as these values are 25, 33, 48, 61, 69, and it is 82, and it is 101, and this value is the value of Yajurveda. There are the number of branches, and we know 101 points range is having 100 gaps. So this Shatrudra Samhita, as such, when we'll be taking up the value 100, then it will be bringing us a coverage of the 100 gaps of the range coverage by Panchama Bhut, with a reach up till the 6-space domain, and within 6-space domain there is going to be a reach up till its origin, and this is going to be a range of 101 points range. The counts, then the gaps will be 100. These counts 101, as these are parallel to 101 branches of Yajurveda, and the value 100 in between is the value equal to 100 years values, 100 years age of lively phenomenon of Lord Krishna, of his existence and his play and his Leela in Dwarka. So all these features are the features which are to be visualized. These are to be comprehended. These are to be imbibed. So as there are very large number of features which will simultaneously are coming into play, as such we shall approach it in terms of the model demonstrations. So if we want to have a model demonstration of the organization format of Shatrudra Samhita, particularly as it is inherently embedded in the formulation Shatrudra Samhita itself, then we should take it a demonstration project for a group of 5 sadhakas. So simultaneously 5 groups will be taking up this project. So 5 groups working upon the project of the organization format of Shatrudra Samhita. When these 5 groups will be reaching at, and then when these 5 groups will be interacting amongst themselves, then we can hope that we will be getting the transcendental bliss of this organization format. So the technique to be adopted in this course is that our class is going to be a class of 25 sadhakas. These 25 sadhakas will be organized as 5 groups of 5 sadhakas each. Each group of 5 sadhakas will take up the exercise, take up the project of reaching at the organization format of Shatrudra Samhita. Shatrudra Samhita will be complemented and supplemented by Koti Rudra Samhita. Now let us see what precisely are the features of the values of Shatrudra Samhita. The Shatrudra Samhita in fact is trying to reach at the different roles of 5 space. Means different roles of 5 space means different roles of 5 space content, means 5 space content manifesting as a domain fold, means it will be taking us to hypercube of 5, and then the different roles of 5 space will be taking us to 5 cross 5 grid, as it will be leading us to 5 prominent roles and in the form of the transcendence ranges. So this grid of 5 cross 5 is the basic format in terms of which we will be reaching at the values of Shatrudra Samhita. Now we know it gives us a Ishan cone, north-east diagonal, where we will be having 5 different roles, and these fold 5 space as origin fold, 5 space as domain fold, 5 space as boundary fold, and 5 space as dimension fold. For it, we have to take the shelter of a solid dimensional order, means 3 space in the role of dimension of a 5 space, and we know here that 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7 is that range, and the summation value of these 5 roles is 25. As such, for transition from the format of Rudra Samhita to the format of Shat Rudra Samhita and ahead of a Koti Rudra Samhita, then we have to take the shelter of the transcendence range, solid order transcendence range. Further, we know that 3 space, this 3 space in the role of dimension, 4 space in the role of boundary, 5 space in the role of domain, 6 space in the role of origin, and 7 space in the role of base. Further, we know that 3 space leads us to 7 geometries, 4 space leads us to 9 geometries, 5 space leads us to 11 geometries, 6 space leads us to 13 geometries, and 7 space leads us to 15 geometries. We know that this value takes us ultimately to the hypercube 5 enveloped within a creative boundary, and its dimensional frame is that it is a 3 space as its dimension. Therefore, 3 space as its dimension means we will be reaching at 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, and here we are having 3 geometries, 5, there would be 7, 9 and 11. Therefore, we from Rudra Samhita of this format we have to reach at this particular format. As such, it would mean that we have to focus upon 3 space, 4 space, 5 space, 6 space and head at 7 space. Therefore, let us visit a fresh 3 space. 3 space means cube, means representative regular body of 3 space. It manifests as a 4-fold manifestation layer as hypercube 3, and hypercube 3 is of 7 versions. Therefore, let us visit this format of 3 space as hypercube 3 as a representative regular body of 3 space manifesting as a 4-fold manifestation layer. So it manifests as a 4-fold manifestation layer, means it is 1, 2, 3 and 4. This 4-fold manifestation layer means hypercube 3 means 3 space content manifesting as the domain fold. 3 space content is manifesting as a domain fold, and this domain fold is of 7 versions. These are the 7 versions which are the representative regular bodies of the 7 geometries range of 3 space. Likewise, a step ahead, hypercube 4 is the representative regular body of a 4 space. It is a 4-fold manifestation layer, 2, 3, 4 and 5. A 2 space plays the role of the dimension, 3 space as boundary, 4 space as domain and 5 space as the origin. It gives us 9 versions. Step ahead, the hypercube of 5, the representative regular body of 5 space, is enveloped within a creative boundary of 10 components, which gives us 11 versions. And step ahead, 6 space gives us 13 versions. And if we'll go a step ahead to 7 space, it would be a raised to power 7 is to 14, b raised to power 6, and it will give us 15 versions. It is this 7 space which in fact will be a pole star. This 6 space is going to be a sun. This 5 space is going to be a space. This 4 space is going to be air, and this 3 space is going to be a fire. Therefore, the Shatrudra Samhita as such is the Samhita which is availing fire, air, Akash, and sun for a reach up till the pole star. So all these features are simultaneously at work, and then we know that cube is a body in each of whose corner points is embedded a three-dimensional frame of a half dimension. As many as 8 such three-dimensional frames of half dimensions are here, and when we know that this internal diagonal, the quadruple internal diagonals, as a translation path will be taking and permitting that this pair of three-dimensional frames of half dimensions, when will translate inside and reach at the center where is the seat of a creator's, where is a four-space seat, spatial order speed, and these will get synthesized. So quadruple synthesized three-dimensional frames together with the initial three-dimensional frame will give us set up 5 three-dimensional frames. Therefore, it is here where the 5 space as origin of the origin is being sustained, is being contained by a 5-dimensional frame of 3 dimensions. Therefore, sadhakas shall visit it, be face to face it, and sequentially reach at this solid dimensional frame of 5 dimensions. Thereafter, let us shift to this seat of the origin in 3 space. It will be taking us to 4 space, and we know the 4 space is having a transcendental cavity. The origin of 4 space is a 5 space, and 5 space creates a solid field around it, and it becomes a transcendental cavity. And a step ahead we reach a 6 space, and within 6 space we have a self-referral origin. Now, and step ahead would be a unity state origin. So sequentially we have to reach at the compactified phenomenon of origin. 4 space as origin of 3 space, 5 space as origin of 4 space, 6 space as origin of 5 space, 7 space as origin of 6 space, and this reach is a reach of 4, 5, 6, 7, and it is of hypercube 4. It is this hypercube 6. So it is this hypercube 6 which is being created by the strip off of the creative boundary of our hypercube 5. Therefore, 4 space, when we will strip off from the transcendental domain, then it will dimensionalize the outer space as a self-referral space. Now, all these features are simultaneously at work, and these features which are simultaneously at work can be comprehended by the help of a group of 5 sadhakas. So all the 5 sadhakas shall pool in their comprehension and with it reach at this particular format of 5 space VMST of the Shatrudra Samhita as come within their comprehension. And as we are having 5 groups, so each of the 5 groups will be compiling their comprehension of Shatrudra Samhita. Therefore, all the 5 groups together, all the 25 sadhakas together will be ultimately face to face with this format. Therefore, during today evening workshop classes, which in fact will become the demonstration classes, the model to be worked out by 25 sadhakas as 5 groups of 5 sadhaka each is to reach at the 5 space format of Shatrudra Samhita, and for it help may be taken of the features of Koti Rudra Samhita as well. The Koti Rudra Samhita is essentially taking us to the transcendental boundary phase. So sit together, pray together, visit together, and pull in your comprehensions, pull in your values reach, and each sadhaka as a member of a group shall form a model of the group, and we will be having 5 models, and all the 5 models of 25 sadhakas as such will give us a satisfaction that we are on the transcendental path. And then we will share these experiences, bliss, and will proceed further for the evaluation of this model and for the next model to be demonstrated in the next workshop. Thank you very much.